Okay. So what about commercial? I know the other day I was having a seminar about foreign purchase tax. So if you're a foreign buyer that wants to invest in British Columbia, so residential has 20% foreign purchase tax, but commercial property is exempt.
Yes, very good question. And this is something very exciting to share. Not many people are aware of this. They tend to think the foreigner tax applies to all types of real estate. However, it doesn't apply to commercial real estate. So that means your market is international.
Yes.
Right? You can sell to anyone, anywhere without worrying that, there is a foreigner tax that they have to pay.
And there's also GST defer.
Yes, so all these are benefits of investing in commercial real estate. Other than no foreigner tax, GST. So just to explain a little bit about GST, typically when a purchaser purchases a residential pre-sale unit or any brand new unit that's under 1 year old, they will have to pay a GST.
Yes.
GST is 5% of the purchase price. So when you purchase a commercial unit, GST can be deferred if you're buying a commercial property with a company. Of course, this is something that I strongly suggest to consult with your accountant. But just to defer that saves buyer another 5%.
Yeah, that's like 25% in tax savings.
Yes, 25%. That is huge. Yes,
so that's amazing. So we can do a side-by-side comparison. Like if I know a lot of people are getting into pre-sale for residential, all the condos are selling like hotcakes. But if you do a side-by-side comparison, the upside potential for commercial is still like huge room to grow.
Yes. And since we're on this topic, I think other than GST, other than foreigner tax, there's other benefits. For example, there's no rental restriction on commercial property. There's no empty home tax.
That's right.
There's no vacancy speculation tax on commercial properties, right? So that alone, I think, will give investors a peace of mind. I understand people invest in residential real estate, but most of the times they get confused with all these taxes, and then they worry that they get taxed if you're non-resident, resident, foreigner, all these tax questions they have. But for commercial, it's very simple. No tax, basically. None of the above.
Yeah, so that's amazing because I know clients that have bought pre-sale like 4 years ago when all these taxes are not implemented. Now, they're always up. There's so many taxes. There's empty home tax. There's vacancy tax. There's going to be underutilized home tax. So with a lot more taxes, like residential have all these taxes because they're trying to provide more housing, right? But commercial has no problem. Like none of these taxes are applicable. So definitely good for foreign investors.
Even local investors, I would say, is something that to consider. And some people might wonder, will the government interfere with commercial later on? But I personally don't think so because city will always encourage business. They want
economic growth.
So they will not impose such restriction on commercial property.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. So,
and also one thing to point out, for example, the rental restriction, right? So, for example, during the past 2 years, during the pandemic period, all the residential landlords, they are not allowed to increase rent, whereas commercial, yes too, but even without the pandemic, usually residential properties can only increase, I would say 2.5%. Less than the annual consumer price increase.
Inflation.
Inflation. So for example, this year, residential can increase 1.5%. But that does not apply to commercial.
So commercial, you can increase how much?
It depends on your negotiation. And usually the lease are long, 5-year lease, and then it's by an increment of, every year it's already in the contract to increase how much.
So actually that gives the investors peace of mind. You don't have the turnover of,
every
tenants.
Year or...
And the BC Residential Tenancy Act actually protects the tenants a lot more. So if you're a commercial landlord, then, you get more protection.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's easier.
Yeah.
To manage the tenant, and they're usually 5 to 10 year terms.
Yeah, so that's easy, right? You don't have to worry about finding new tenants. And speaking of tenants, and you talk about expenses of residential landlords. So all these maintenance for commercial units, for example, your property tax, your your unit insurance, strata fees, all these are paid by commercial tenants.
Yes.
So this is what we call the triple net lease.
That's right.
Additional rent. So basically, as a commercial landlord, all you need to worry about is to cover your mortgage. And if you don't have mortgage, then perfect. Just collect your rent.
Cash flow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing. So they cover the property tax.
Yes.
The operating costs.
Yes.
And the maintenance fee.
Yes. Insurance. So basically everything.
Insurance. Yeah. You just collect the rent.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So definitely frameworks.
And another thing is, remember, like the developers fill in the shell. The tenant, it's gonna add leasehold improvements to finish.
Yes. So there's someone, to make your unit better.
Yeah. So the tenant actually improve, like they add leasehold improvements to the shell. So it's so advantageous for investor.
Yes. That's right.
And you guys also have property management. You can try to secure potential tenants.
Yeah, so we work with property managers and mortgage advisors too, so we can definitely help our clients, throughout all this process.
Perfect. So what is the deposit structure?
Okay, for frameworks, it's 21%. At contract writing, there's a $10,000 deposit, but there's still a 7-day rescission period for the buyer to consider and inquire about mortgage, for example, or do your due diligence. And then once you remove subject, then that's 11% of the purchase price. 5%, the next 5% will be early this year, 2022. And then the last 5% will be in 2023. Estimated completion is end of 2023 to early 2024.
So after you pay the 21% for mortgage, how much do you need for mortgage?
So it depends. Everyone is different, but just from my understanding of my own clients and talking to mortgage advisors, if, for example, you already have an established company with healthy financials in the past 2 to 3 years, my understanding is you can finance up to 80 or 90%. We've seen cases like this. If you don't have a company yet, or you're a new company, then they can take the lease income, your rental income, at the same time together with your new company. So that will probably be, I would say around 35% to 40%. So if you already pay 21%, so it's basically another 15% at completion.
Right. So what does the price start from?
Yes. So it's very attractive pricing. It's around $1 million, right, to start, which I don't think you can find anything in Vancouver that's in the $1 million range.
And how big is the $1 million unit?
It's 1,100 to 1,300. Depends on which level.
Yeah, that's very good size. And level 3, I think it's the price per square feet is
$780.
$780 per square feet. It's great.
Yes. Yeah.
And at this stage, once you secure your purchase, you can start looking for the potential tenant.
Yes, you can pre-lease. So commercial units, you can pre-lease your units. So that is another.
And if you secure a tenant, the tenant can even go there before completion to apply for
permits, renovation permits. So then by completion, it's right on time for the tenant to take over.
Start collecting rent.
Yes, right away. Perfect.
Yeah, that's great.